Good morning and welcome back to, well, what is this? This is Flashback Friday. There we go. Here on Gaming with ADHD, where today we're going to be taking a sort of a flashback, flip through, unboxing, kind of combination of everything of the second edition Shadowrun box set, Denver, the City of Shadows. Now, honestly, this is my first time looking at this product. I had heard about it and was curious. I even found a copy a couple of years ago that was brand new, perfectly sealed, and not cheap. And I had to pass on it. I really wanted it, but honestly, it would go better to an actual collector because it was still sealed and I would want to open it. But I did manage to get a copy a couple of weeks ago, and I figured, you know what? Let's take a look at this. So, before we get started, do make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I try to put out a few videos each week covering all sorts of tabletop content, whether it's miniatures, role-playing, board games, or anything in between, and I'd love for you to come along and see what we have to share. In addition, there are some links down below. They are affiliate links. They do help out the channel if you choose to use them. But regardless, just happy to have you here. So, with that out of the way, let's take a look at this. All right. So, first off, this is the box. It is a classic FASA box. About 1.5 inches deep. A little bigger than the 8.5 by 11 for, to be able to fit books and whatnot in it. Now, alright, couple of things. So first off, this was written by Nigel Findley. I had heard the name, I didn't really know who it was, and so I'm like, oh, maybe I could look the guy up and do an interview. Apparently, he tragically passed away in, I believe it was 1995, at the age of 35 from a surprise heart attack. So, kind of sad. But that's kind of the cool thing about artistic expression. You know, the creator can make something that's going to last. Especially for like the Denver box set. It is not cheap to try and get a hold of in general. This copy, I got it at my used bookstore, about $45, and I had some trade credit, so I think I got it for free-ish. But it clearly, I mean, when it goes for higher prices on the aftermarket, usually that means that the fans really like that product. So I was really excited to get my hands on it. On the back, we'll read the little intro. It says, "Welcome to the Front Range Free Zone. That's Denver for you out-of-sync jokers. It's a subdivided, Drek-infested, dead, dry tinderbox waiting for some political pyromaniac with slippery fingers to drop a match. It's the center of the black market for most of North America and the crossroads of 6 nations. Aslan, CAS, Pueblo, Sioux, Ute, and UCAS. They get along with each other about as well as the rest of us do, all jandering for position and a slightly bigger piece of the turf. It's home of the Nexus, the Denver data haven, repository of more black information than Maria Mercurial's diary. Maybe. It's all waiting for you, chummer. Can you handle it?" Alright, so it says, contains a player's guidebook full of public and shadow information about the city and its surroundings, a Game Master sourcebook that describes the locations, local folks, secrets, and surprises of the Treaty City, as well as offering rules and suggestions for making Denver as dangerous as it gets. The campaign set also includes a poster-sized color map of the Front Range Free Zone, and a pair of security travel passes for 2 of the city's 6 sectors. Which will you get, chummer? Aslan, Cass, Pueblo, Sioux, Ute, or UCAS? There's only one way to find out. Alright, I wanted to read that before opening up the box because I'm not sure how I feel about that. I already know, I have the cards. That was one of the crazy finds about the box. It was a good price, and it included the cards. But the fact that they put 2 of 6 cards in the box, and as far as I understand, no way to ever get the rest of the cards outside of trading with people or getting multiple box sets. I don't know. That's some sick marketing. So I think it was definitely interesting. One other thing that I do think is interesting, you can see it here on the barcode. Cover price for this box set is a whopping $25. It is crazy to think. I mean, obviously inflation, blah, 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 whatever. But even still, $25. I remember as a kid, like, yeah, $20 was a lot, but I'd be willing to spend it. So, anyways, just crazy to see where things have evolved over the years. But, alright, I've yammered enough. Let's open this thing up. Alright. So, here are my 2 travel cards. So we've got the Confederate American States, the Heart of Old America. We've got the Aslan Sector, Admittance Permit, Temporary, valid for 12 hours from hour of issuance. So this, I mean, again, so much little fun details on this. Cleared for Cyberware Class B, Ava Marie Valdez, Bureau of Sector Admittance. Identicode Stripe. I don't think... I'm assuming that that's just a print, but it would be really funny if that was an actual mag stripe on this. But yeah, and then just standard kind of documentation that you'd find on the back of any other card or type of ID. Again, same kind of a thing with the cast, although they give you the spot for a picture. So, anyways, I love little things like this. Unfortunately, I don't have the rest. I haven't tried looking to see if I could get the rest of them. But anyways, that's just fun. All right. So then we've got books. You know, I'm going to set that to the side. All right. So I'm kind of mixed on the cover. Like, I get they're trying to be a little edgy, but the red and black just kind of mute some of the detail. So it's interesting, but I don't know. Definitely mixed. All right, so this is 166 pages front to back. Face it, you fraggers. Denver is a subdivided, pain-racked, schizophrenic, self-serving, epileptic, sadomasochistic haven for the divinely warped. And I love each and every one of your bitter, thrice-damned souls. Right Reverend Donald R. Byrne, New Church of the Final Unction. Okay. Let's see. So this was originally published in 1994. So let's see. We're not going to flip through everything, but we'll take a look at like the contents and whatnot. All right. So obviously we've got an introduction, what you need to know about Colorado, crossing the line. So the outer boundary, sector demarcators, going back and forth. So I'm guessing going in and out of Denver, which obviously then goes into other countries. So, how Denver got the way it is, how it is now. So Denver Council, bureaucracy, the real power, zone economics, organized crime, mafia, yakuza, obviously, other organizations, smuggling and T-bird runs, black and shadow market, the Nexus, Denver Data Haven. I was thinking about that. Like, they make a big deal about data havens in Shadowrun, and we kind of think that we've evolved past them, but we haven't. Like, there's data centers and server farms and all sorts of stuff. I mean, we can carry a lot more data on our person, but you still want to have your content backed up somewhere, or just stored in general. So data havens are absolutely a real thing. The Aztlan sector, Cass sector, so then it breaks down obviously all the sectors. Pueblo, Sioux, UCAS, Ute. All right, and then we get into the book itself. So it is created very similarly to the other Shadowrun books. So it's gonna be written kind of like a first-person perspective, like you're reading it on a message board or a forum kind of a thing. So this obviously started really, really early in Shadowrun history. So Shadowland, it looks like you're working with some sort of a computer interface, and then gets into it. So I'm actually kind of surprised at how well this book has held up. I mean, this is a 30-year-old, 30-year-old role-playing book at this point. We get some basic facts about the city as of May 2055. Still about 60 years in the future, because this would have come 94, so 55, so about 61 years. Right now, I think it's 2085, 2086 in Shadowrun, so they're still holding about that 60 years in the future. Again, still written out little snippets from actual people. Now, I know I've complained about the fact that current Shadowrun books have a lot of text. I thought that was kind of a new development. I think I might be wrong. I think that might have always been the case. I mean, so we have like it's not a picture, but I mean, it's some sort of a graphic. And then we have another picture over here. So, I mean, we are every couple of pages at least. Seriously, I love some of just this old school FASA art. Yeah, they can do, like, some of these artists back then. I mean, maybe they weren't doing as polished art as they are doing now, but a lot of it just seems so much more evocative, especially when you're just looking at sometimes just like, this is a black and white image. This is not grayscale. There's no shading going on here. It's all done with the lines. Just love it. This just screams Shadowrun. Oh, I love that. I really need to take this out and just read it. Actually, I need to find a PDF of it so I don't ruin this book. Look, I legally own a copy now. I can find an archive. How it is now. All right, so obviously this is going to be an info dump. It's essentially a setting book. It's dealing with, how to the action trit of the year, Cyber Ninja 4, Return of the Radman. Okay, that's awesome. And just like it's just a very simple Photoshop. I mean, it's a 1980 or 1990s Photoshop or whatever the equivalent was. That is fantastic. The fact that they just made up a movie which catches the best of the 90s, but then also is supposed to be futuristic. I think that's one thing I've always liked about kind of the Shadowrun Cyberpunk aesthetic is it's just this kind of future what if. It's all gone sideways, but it's also not necessarily horrible. So many times you just see that kind of post-apocalyptic look. Lots of little just quick bios of different characters. Actually. Oh, so then we've got like a whole internet conversation, but it keeps saying bash, and I'm like, are they trying to like hack the internet? Oh no, those are people. So, alright, and then it goes into the sectors. Let's see. So, obviously we're going to get different demographics and information about the area. You only go out once in life. Make it the best. Pre-plan your funeral. Okay. Weapon finds and in prison terms. That's what that is one thing that I do kind of struggle with. Like they push, oh yeah, cybernetics and they're great and easy and blah blah blah. Oh yeah, by the way, totally illegal. Shadowrunning ain't easy, folks. Anyhow, but yeah, so I like how they're taking what look like actual maps, integrating it. That's another thing I like about modern stuff. You can do that. You can just take a map of your town. Like I'm in the Arizona area. You want to make you want to do an adventure in Phoenix? Guess what? We got plenty of maps. Anyhow, alright, so it's breaking down all the sectors. I'm sorry I haven't read this all, folks, but we'll do that later. This is just supposed to be a flip through. Alright, so that's the player's book. General information, what are the players allowed to know, that kind of stuff. Alright, this is going to be about the same. Now, this is the Game Master's book. This art, I think it came off better with the two-tone. This one I recognize from inside the player's book. Not bad. Obviously it has a little bit of a James Bond aesthetic going on there. Alright, so this one I did read something that I want to read off to you that I thought was actually pretty cool. Alright. So here in the introduction to the Game Master's book. Listen up, Game Masters. We know that surprises and uncertainties are an essential part of creating a satisfying Shadowrun adventure. But we also know how difficult it is to keep your players on their toes when they know as much or more than you do about a Shadowrun environment because they read all the same books. This book is designed to remedy that problem. How to use this book. We wrote Denver to read pretty much like most other Shadowrun source books. The intriguing, confusing combination of facts, suspicions, guesses, rumors, and lies that you've come to expect. Some mouthy slag from the shadows contradicted just about every fact the authors stated, called them tin pot liars, offered an alternative interpretation, or asked a leading question that cast doubt on, or at least slanted, the author's version of the facts. The Denver Game Master book takes the concept of unconfirmed information one step further. It offers additional information on the people, places, and events discussed in the Denver book, plus 3 different versions of background information that your players don't know. These 3 contradictory, mutually exclusive explanations for what's really happening behind the scenes in the Treaty City give you the opportunity to decide for yourself what the truth is in your game. That, I think, is brilliant. And mad props to Mr. Findley for deciding to write it that way. Like that is one of the problems that people have. They want to run their game their way. No, I'm gonna create my own world. I'm gonna write my own story. But with modern games and stuff like Shadowrun, part of the appeal is it's set in a version of our world. So this, I think, is cool because it's like, okay, hey, here's something, but here's options for how to explain it to your players. Think about it. You can even take and make your own out of that. It gives you, like I love being able to have at least seeds and something I can work off of instead of having to come up with it myself and feeling like an idiot because it's not very good. Anyways, that's a me problem. Anyways, I really, really liked reading that. It was a fun, just like, okay, I get what they're doing with this, and this is going to be neat to just see what they pull off. So we then have a troll with a boombox. I mean, who doesn't want a troll with a boombox? It's the 90s, folks. Boomboxes were cool. Not as cool as the 80s, but still. All right. So we get some instructions on game mastering Denver. What's going to be different? What kind of things should you put up against your players? Things like that. All right. The Spirit of Denver. Long before the Treaty of Denver, a free great form city spirit lived there. Some magicians even contend the city and the spirit were somehow one. According to the few investigators who have successfully researched the matter, the spirit most likely took up residence in the area during the gold rush of the 1850s. By the time Denver City became the capital for Colorado Territory in 1867, the spirit already wielded considerable strength and influence and would continue to grow during the next century and a half. Some researchers believe the spirit somehow took responsibility for the city, protecting it from outside influences that might work to the detriment of the city and its growing population. So the city's alive. Anyways, okay, this is just fun. Alright, so here's an example. Alright, so we've got the spirits. The following brief descriptions of 4 of the more influential and or well-known sub-spirits of Denver include 3 options that provide alternative backgrounds and or motivations for each spirit fragment. We left 2 of the spirits undefined to allow the Game Master latitude to develop unique sub-spirits with diverse and interesting powers that fit his version of the Front Range Free Zone. So we've got Gray Sky. The sub-spirit that calls itself Gray Sky watches over the Pueblo sector and occasionally involves itself in sector politics. So option A, Gray Sky is a trickster that enjoys assuming the guise of a mortal, usually an itinerant or homeless person, and slotting with the guards and sensors watching the sector demarcators. You know all those false alarms keeping the watch commanders from getting their sleep lately? Gray Sky's having a bit of fun. Option B, Gray Sky is a trickster alright, and its humor will just slay you. In this version, the sub-spirit still targets demarcator security, but it tends to get off on assuming the guise of a corrupt demarcator guard and luring would-be border crossers into trouble. Last week, a runner got herself geeked when her physical mask spell spontaneously collapsed in front of a truckload of trigger-happy guards. Gray Sky apparently laughed itself insubstantial. And option C, Gray Sky is a shadow rather than a trickster, and really has it in for anyone who wants to enter the Pueblo sector illegally. The spirit often impersonates a connected, well-known local, and leads people into ambushes that it has set up, by impersonating watch commanders among the security forces. Few walk away from these ambushes, but if they do, Gray Sky doesn't mind. They'll just tell all their friends about how the local they hired fragged them over. Definitely the end of the local's career and probably his life, too. Gray Sky couldn't be happier. Alright, that's great. Fantastic writing. Alright, we've got Night, Smoke, Rojo. And there we go. Alright. Different people. So, alright, so those characters that we saw kind of there at the end, and so we get some background and obviously the options for those. This is fun. Oh man, I think this is just a gold mine. This is just going to be a gold mine of information anyways. Oh, great googly moogly. Organizations, including the defunct NORAD. Now known as the Whole. Oh, just tons of art. Yeah, see this? Okay, so this looks a lot better in black and white than it does in red and black. I think it's the fact that it's a negative on the cover. Really throws this off, but this actually looks pretty good. Alright, we then get some different rules for air travel, airport security, border security. Good old FOSSA charts and diagrams. Anyways, this is a wealth of information. Want to join the Shadowrun network? I wonder if it's still valid. It's not valid. Alright, and then an ad for Bug City coming in fall 94. And Fiend. Alright, so those are the two books. Got a couple last little bits. Oh, I'm so glad I picked this up. Alright, so first up, we have a sector map. So we do get a little key down here. So we've got, looks like Pueblo, Ute, Sioux, Cass, UCAS, and then a tiny little strip for Atzlan in here. And then obviously what nations surround it. Anyway, so nice little overview map. I like that. Nothing on the back side. And I know I'm not, like, even with my upgraded table, I am not going to have enough room for this. Alright. So we get a giant map. Wow. Alright, I literally have my camera zoomed out as much as I can. But we get a nice big image of downtown. Significant buildings are marked. We do get a list of the points of interest. Again, it is single-sided. This is interesting. I don't know. Yeah, you should be able to see it. So it'll give you a list of the... It'll tell you the place, and then the color over here is going to tell you which territory it's part of. And then we also get a map key down here for rails, railroads, streets, helicopter landing, border crossing for cars, border crossing for foot, different nations, international areas. So, anyways, so, you know, Because let's be honest, if you're going to run in Denver, you're going to end up downtown at some point. Okay. LL here is Mitsuhama Tower. Okay. I mean, why wouldn't you raid Mitsuhama? I mean, come on. Anyways, so this is fantastic. All right. Then, of course, it was a box set, so we got a catalog from 94. Obviously, BattleTech kind of a big deal even back then. So we've got ads for Earth Dawn and BattleTech. Definitely part of the Unseen era, because we still got a Warhammer on the cover. MechWarrior was up to 2nd edition. Battle Space was out. Solaris 7. Jade Falcon, Wolf Clan source books. Anyways, this is a Shadowrun video. It's not BattleTech. Man, BattleTech is like this whole catalog. Actually, we get a good amount of Shadowrun. So yeah, so we got 2nd edition, DMZ, which I've done a video on previously if you want to check that one out. And then different source books from 1st and 2nd edition. A lot of the first edition books came over. And then we had a couple of ads. So the Super Nintendo Shadowrun game. Best role-playing game of 1993. The Sega Genesis Shadowrun game. Not the best role-playing game of 1993. They are different games from everything I understand. And we've got a mail order form to just because you want to go direct, you know? Crazy to look at some of these prices. You know, $15 for an adventure book. You know, Denver's like, oh no, DMZ is $30. So DMZ was the most expensive thing on here. But even the 2nd edition book, I'm not really zoomed in. The 2nd edition book, Shadowrun book, was $25. You know, BattleTech was $25. So, man, crazy how prices have changed. So, all right, so that is Denver, the City of Shadows. Honestly, I think our modern role-playing books have lost something. They're good. They're pretty. They've got great art. Okay? But when was the last time you saw a Denver box set? When was the last time you saw, you know, somebody trying to push the boundaries and do something weird and different, you know? I remember the first time I saw a role-playing box set. A friend of mine showed me Menza Berenzen for AD&D 2nd edition. And I thought it was cool. And over the years, you know, well, at least through the 90s and early 2000s, you'd still see box sets. You know, hey, we've got a ton of information. You know, it's more than a book should have. We want to give you all these extra little bits that are fun and different. But they don't really do that anymore. I mean, you might get like a starter box, but like, again, when was the last time you just saw a box set with a city map and cheesy little prop cards, you know, something that you can take for an adventure and actually hand to your players? You know, yeah, you can make those things. Yes, the technology's gotten better and you can just make it and print it at home, but there's something about the joy of just like opening it up and seeing, oh, I got Aslan and the Kaz. what did my buddy get? Or, is there a way I can trade for the UCAS card? Whatever it is. And I wish we'd go back to some of that stuff. I don't think we will. I think publishers are way too cautious. But I miss it. And I think we need to see more of it. So, anyhow, with that said, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Put down in the comments. Let me know, did you have this? Have you run adventures out of it? What was your favorite part? Obviously, I haven't read it yet. I just kind of did an unboxing and flip through. What do we get out of it? Let me know your comments. I didn't get to play it 30 years ago, so let me live through you guys. So, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you next time.